Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining today. We are very excited to have you here to go over how to fix cross-team collaboration in B2B support. I'm Luke Via, SVP of Customer Success here at Hiver, and I've got with me Cole Miller, one of our senior account executives. So here's where I would really like to get started today. If you've been anywhere near a customer support conversation this year, you know what everyone's talking about. It's AI. How do we automate more? How do we deflect more tickets? How do we get resolution times down? And look, those are very real conversations worth having, and we're having them a lot internally too. But when we sit down with B2B support leaders, which we do every week, if not almost every day, there's a different problem that keeps coming up. And it's one that almost no tool on the market is actually built to solve. It's what happens when a customer issue can't be resolved by one person on one team with a single tool. Because here's the thing about AI and support, it's really, really good at the simple stuff now. Password resets, how do I do this? However, your higher stakes issues, the ones putting actual revenue at risk, they require support, engineering, product, finance, customer success, all to align seamlessly. And that's where most teams break down. So, what we're going to cover in the next 45 minutes is exactly that. Why cross team collaboration breaks down in B2B support specifically, what it costs you when it does, and what it looks like when you fix it. So, right now, AI agents are moving onto the support floor. They started out by helping with basic tickets. Now we've got full on agentic AI. They're not necessarily chatbots that deflect customers, but now they're teammates that can resolve queries alongside humans. The question is no longer whether AI belongs in support, it's how modern teams put it to work without losing what makes support human. That change deserves more than a feature announcement or a trend report. It deserves a running conversation. Real teams, real rollouts, real lessons from the front lines of agentic support. That's why we call it the shift, because this isn't an upgrade of the old way of working. It's a move to an entirely new way of working. And the teams that make the shift now will define what great support looks like for the next decade. And the shift is where they tell that story. So before we start, a couple notes. Number one, we're going to do our best to keep the session brief. We will be going into Hiver to show you how we actually solve for some of these things. Feel free to submit Q&A in the chat, and we will address those questions at the end. You can also interact, introduce yourself on chat if you'd like, and of course, we are recording this. So if you can't stay for the entirety of it, we will get it sent out to you. Let's start with why. Because B2B support is a different animal, and I think the reasons are worth naming precisely. The first one is that you're not just supporting individuals, you're supporting accounts. So when a consumer emails in, the whole relationship is right there in one thread. However, in B2B, a single issue might touch an admin who set things up, an end user who hit the problem, a manager who's escalating it internally on their side, and a procurement contact who's asking what this means for the contract. Four people, one issue, and they're all comparing notes with each other about how you're handling it. Just keeping your story straight across those four conversations is a ton of work in and of itself. The second reason is that the team, customer support, almost never has the full answer. In B2C, an agent can resolve things mostly on their own. But in B2B, the answer usually lives somewhere else. Engineering has the logs, product knows what changed in the last release, finance owns the billing logic, customer success knows the account's health and history. The agent's real job isn't just answering the questions, it's orchestrating the people internally who can. And third, the stakes are different. In B2B, every ticket sits on top of a relationship that might be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. A missed handoff in B2C is an annoyed customer. A missed handoff in B2B can show up in a renewal conversation 6 months later where you're battling churn. So that's the setup. And when these breakdowns happen consistently, the impact isn't a vague feeling, it's measurable. So let's talk about costs. Let me put a few numbers on this. 77% of agents say their caseload got harder this year. AI is taking the easy tickets. There's no doubt about that. So what's left are the complex multi-team queries. 58% of agents are jumping between screens just to find context on a single ticket. That's half your team spending real hours reconstructing information that already lives in your tools across your organization. And 79% of customers expect a consistent experience no matter which team they're dealing with. 79 is basically everyone. Your customer doesn't care that billing goes to one team and then technical goes to another. To them, it's all just you. And most support organizations aren't set up to deliver that experience. So agents are stretched thinner and thinner on harder problems, and customers expect seamless handoffs. That gap is where things break. So let me show you what that looks like. We've got an example here, the ticket that took 3 weeks. This is a real pattern we've seen play out, and I'd bet money a version of it has happened inside your team. An enterprise customer emails support. They've emailed your support team about a question on their last invoice because there was a surge in usage-based billing. It's a super reasonable question. I would do the same. The agent looks at it and knows they can't answer this alone. So they do the right thing. They escalate it up, a JIRA gets created, and then the ticket sits, waiting. Engineering and product do pick it up, and they start working on the issue where they live in JIRA and in Slack. Was there an issue with metering? Did a trial period bill when it shouldn't have? So they're investigating. But that's the first crack. None of this discussion is actually flowing back to the help desk on its own. Someone, usually the agent, is manually looking around, copying updates, trying to remember things when they have time. Meanwhile, while that's all happening, someone else at the same company emails in about the same charge, a brand new ticket. A different agent picks it up, but nobody connects the two. Now we've got two independent tickets being worked, being investigated, likely by similar teams, about the same problem, and the customer is getting two sets of updates and answers. Meanwhile, the CSM who owns the account, the person whose entire job it is to maintain this relationship, finds out about the issue from the customer on a call, nonetheless. Imagine sitting across from your customer and they know more about the open ticket than you do. I hope you've never been there. I certainly have. Eventually, finance gets pulled in over email in yet another thread. And at this point, support asks engineering for an update. Engineering says product is looking into it. Product thinks engineering has it. Nobody's lying. Nobody's incorrect or lazy. There's just no single place where we have a source of truth for where this ticket should live. Ultimately, 3 weeks pass. The customer who started with a billing question has now experienced slow responses, contradictory answers, and a CSM who was out of the loop. The renewal is 90 days out, and they churn. And here's the part I really want to emphasize. Every person in this story was competent. They did what their tooling allows them to do. The tools were actually the problem. Nothing in that stack is built for an issue that belongs to 5 teams at once. So the obvious question is, what does it look like when the stack is built for that? That's where we step in. That's what Hiver's for. One platform where the full context of a customer issue stays intact, no matter how many teams are working on it. And most critically, it doesn't ask engineering to leave Jira or your CSMs to leave Slack. Everyone keeps working where they already work. The context just stops falling between the gaps. Rather than list features at you, let's take the exact story you just heard and replay it. Same customer, same billing issue, same 5 teams, step by step. Here's where each breakdown gets caught. Okay.
Okay, perfect. And then Luke, I can start sharing. I just need you to stop sharing your screen.
Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Okay, awesome. So yeah, I'll run us through, that customer support example and that exact flow of how we can help, manage that request more effectively within Hiver Omni. And for today's example, we'll just be focusing on the email channel, but we are an omni-channel solution at the end of the day. We offer live chat, forms, customer portal, phone, for customers to engage their clients. So in the life of an agent, I'll click into the customer support mailbox right here, and I can see that a refund request has come in from this client. So scrolling down on the right-hand side of the panel here on the activity log, I can see that, this conversation came inbound. A JIRA issue is actually automatically created because for all refund requests, we have to go through our engineering team to get that scheduled. So this was automatically created and pushed into JIRA. We see that an automation triggered that applied a refund tag to categorize and organize those conversations to the right team. Folks go towards analytics, and then it actually assigned it to the refund specialist, who is me, Cole Miller, to run through this request. So as you can see here, we also have that JIRA card and ticket that was created. So we can access all that JIRA information right here to see where it is in status, what's going on with that request from the engineering team. And just to kind of show you the other side of it, this is where it was created right here in JIRA automatically. But let's say, I need, some more information. I'm going to reach out to the customer success manager who's associated with this account, and I can find out who that is by clicking into our HubSpot deep link integration. And here I can see the deal info that was associated with it and see that Luke Via was the customer success manager who should be, working through this type of request. So I'm going to click on, this Slack tab to engage in a conversation without even having to leave the Omni platform. So I'm going to select the channel, mention, the right folks who can help initiate this refund. So I just sent that out into Slack, into that specific channel. And here I'll wait for, Luke and Samiksha to give me the final go ahead to initiate this refund. Okay, perfect. So Luke was able to give me that go ahead to start initiating this for the team. And then here I'll go back to the conversation. I'll click on our AI Copilot to draft a response. And this Copilot can pull from different knowledge sources, whether it's like Notion, Confluence, Google Drive, ad hoc documentation to help streamline responses for your support team. So instead of them searching, through different systems, different policies and drafting it up manually, we'll just leverage this Copilot to spin up this response for us, saving us very valuable time as a customer support agent. It gives us step-by-step, information on how to process the refund. It actually shows you the source that it's pulling from also. And then I can just one-click insert this into the draft. And then since there's nothing left for us to do here, I'm then going to send and close this conversation and then move on, to that next support request. But that's it on my side, Luke. So I will get back over to you, and we'll keep it going here.
Awesome. Thank you, Cole. So let me go ahead and bring back our presentation here. And I want all of you to think about just not only what Cole showed you there, but the chaos that we had previously in the example. And what I think Cole did a great job showcasing there was across those disparate teams, across those teams working in different systems, that ticket can be managed in one centralized place. So I want to show you, a few specifics about how we go about accomplishing this. First of all, when support brings engineering product into the investigation, we can actually integrate directly with JIRA. So we've got an enterprise customer who says they've been charged for something. and they didn't expect to pay for it, and the agent knows something isn't right and they can't answer it. So someone needs to actually verify what's in usage logs, whether it's a metering issue, whether this account has crossed a threshold. So the agent creates this issue in Jira straight from within the ticket. Engineering and product pick up on it to verify the actual AI usage for this account. They work on it in Jira like they normally would, and nothing changes for them. But as they dig in and post updates, those updates sync back to the ticket automatically. The agent isn't messaging them every hour, asking if they've had a chance to look at it. They can just see the ticket move from checking usage logs to confirmed. Here's what's happened. Second, the CSM is able to stay in the loop. This is an enterprise account, which means there's almost always a CSM involved, someone who really doesn't want to be blindsided by any issues like this. So the last thing any CSM wants is to hear about a billing dispute for the first time on a customer call, especially if it's a QBR or an upcoming renewal call. There's no greater fear for a CSM. So the agent loops the CSM in immediately through a Slack thread attached right to the ticket. The CSM sees exactly what was asked, what's being investigated, and where things stand, without anyone having to write a separate summary for them. If this account is anywhere near a renewal, that CSM now has the full picture before the customer even has to ask them about it. No more duplicate tickets. So here's something that happens more often than people expect with usage-based billing questions. While the investigation is running, another person from the same company emails in about the same charge. And an agent picks it up because they noticed the line item and assumed nobody had looked into it yet. Without a unified view, that's two agents working on the exact same issue, performing the same investigation without knowing it, and possibly giving the customer two different explanations. With Hiver, the agent sees every conversation tied to the account in a single place: the health score, the renewal timeline, and who owns the relationship, as well as any open threads. So when that second email comes in, it gets linked to the same investigation instantly instead of starting over from zero. All right. Let's say engineering comes back and confirms there's actually a discrepancy. Maybe the account got billed for usage during a trial period that should have been excluded. Now someone needs to approve a credit, and that's not a call a support agent gets to make typically on their own. The agent tags finance directly from the same ticket. Finance reviews the case already with full context, and they approve it. The agent gets notified the moment it happens. Nobody's sending a separate email to finance and waiting days to hear back, and nobody's promising the customer a credit before it's actually been approved. All right. And then now you've got three different inputs sitting in one ticket: engineering's confirmation of what happened with the usage data, the CSM's context of the relationship, and finance's approved credit. That's a lot for one agent to pull together cleanly under pressure, especially on a sensitive billing question for an enterprise account. So AI Copilot reads across everything here: the Jira findings, the Slack thread, the finance approval, and drafts a single reply that gets every detail right. The agent reviews it, adjusts anything which needs a more personal touch, and sends one consistent answer to everyone who needs to see it. No risk of the customer getting one explanation from support and a slightly different one from their CSM later. So let's look at a few customers who have actually seen this happen. Number one, Flexport, a global logistics company, resolves queries 50% faster, and they save 387 hours every month. Ping Identity, a fully distributed accounts payable team, is able to resolve queries 65% faster and save 89 hours each month as well. And Conservice, a utility management company, they're saving 265 hours a month, responding to queries 30% faster by using Hiver, combining disparate systems, sharing context across all teams, and bridging those gaps. So let me bring it back to where we started. If any part of that 3-week story felt familiar, if you recognized your own team in the manual Jira updates or the CSM finding out on a call, or any other thing happening where the conversation crops up in Slack or multiple tickets getting created, that recognition is worth acting on. It doesn't fix itself, and it doesn't show up on any dashboard until an account is already at risk or worse, they've churned. So we're dropping a link in the chat. It books a short personalized walkthrough where we look at how your teams are actually structured and show you exactly where Hiver fits into that. No generic walkthrough tour. It's built around your specific setup. So that's everything we've prepared, and we've got some time. So I'd like to open it up. Do we have any questions? Okay, I can see that demo link was put in there. Someone asked, if you're already using Hiver for our teams, can we still book a demo for a walkthrough? Certainly. Certainly. Don't hesitate to reach out. We will happily show you our omni-channel platform here where we can collaborate and bring a lot of that context together. Or if you're operating out of Gmail, we can showcase how AI can streamline communication in our Gmail product as well. Let's see, do we have any other questions here? Okay, one question that had come up earlier, doesn't adding Jira, Slack, and Finance into one ticket just create more noise for an agent? I would say no. It's actually not the opposite of noise. If it feels like that's too much input or too much information, I can tell you that agent already craves all that context. They're looking for it, they want access to it. They still see a single ticket in Hiver. And what changes is the engineering updates, the CSM context, the finance approval, and my example earlier, they are all now in the ticket. So it's less screen switching, less context gathering, and they're not chasing things between 4 tabs. That's the 50% of agents jumping between screens solved that we talked about earlier. Okay. Any other questions here? Someone had asked, they already have a shared mailbox that they're using this, so why or what would Hiver do by it being added on top of it? A shared inbox solves who owns a ticket inside of customer support. That's the nice thing about it. You can better triage things and ensure that there's a clear person who is supposed to respond to the customer. That being said, it doesn't solve what happens when the answer lives across multiple teams. It just clarifies who's actually drafting that final message. But the work that they have to complete to get that answer is massive when you only have a shared mailbox. By bringing all that context into the help desk, their lives are much easier. The response is much quicker. And the shared mailbox still clarifies ownership, but Hyper takes it a step further by bringing all that context in. Any other questions? Okay, one other one here asks about our Copilot. What stops AI Copilot from sending something wrong to an enterprise customer? That's something I'm nervous about constantly. A lot of folks talk about fully agentic AI workflows that can complete the entire customer service transaction, and this exact thing really is what gives me pause. So, what Copilot at Hiver does is it drafts. It doesn't send these actual responses. The agent reviews every reply before it goes out. So it's the same review step as today, minus the 15 minutes of manually reading 3 Slack updates and a Jira ticket first. It's a human in the loop is the whole design, not an afterthought. Okay. Oh, somebody asked, how would you adapt this to B2C? Well, in B2C, while agents typically have a lot of autonomy to make decisions and answer queries, there's typically still context that lives in other systems. So even in B2C, it may be that that business sells products to a market and there's a product team that works out of another tool like, say, Jira. Or in B2C, even if it's a recurring subscription or something along those lines, there's going to be a billing platform and there's a billing team or finance person. So by bringing these teams together in a centralized place or bringing the updates rather together by integrating these disparate solutions, the frontline customer service agent is much more empowered to draft that reply. And regarding our AI Copilot, it's already built for B2B or B2C. It's really using the latest in AI technology to build a contextually aware response that is consistent and it can be sent to any type of customer, regardless of B2B or B2C.
Yeah. And we also have, plenty of B2C integrations with tools like WooCommerce, Shopify. So if you want to pull in like, order information, lifetime value, customer history, and stuff like that, some more great way to have your customers' data at your fingertips. So you're ensuring you're providing that, catered experience.
Thank you, Cole. Okay. I think that wraps us up for today. We are just about at the hour. If anyone has any final questions, don't hesitate to throw them in the chat. Otherwise, as stated, we will be sending out a recording of this. Again, if you would like to learn more about how we can integrate your various teams so that your frontline support agents are empowered to respond to customers much more quickly with all the context, don't hesitate to schedule a demo or reach out to us. We'd love to show you how it works.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank
Appreciate you
you.
hopping on today.